Hi, this is Nicole Roberts Jones, and welcome to Amplify Your Brilliance. What I know for sure is that one of life's greatest gifts will meet you when you go after your more. And so here is where I share with you thought-provoking insight and behind-the-curtain conversations with women who have reached the pinnacle of success because they went after their more. And I really want you to get this. One idea from these episodes can make a remarkable difference, not just in your business, your career, but in your life. Also, make sure you join the conversation in our Facebook group. Go to thebrilliancetribe.com. Now grab your pen as we begin today's session of Amplify Your Brilliance. Hello and welcome to this episode of Amplify Your Brilliance. So as you listen to this episode, I will be approaching my 50th birthday. Yay! So I thought, what an appropriate time to just share with you 50 life lessons that I've learned along the way. So whether you've already hit 50 and listen in, tell me if you agree, or if you have yet to hit 50, hopefully I'm going to share some insight with you that will help you move forward no matter where you are in this thing called life. All right, so you ready? And I'm just going to walk through and share as I feel led to share about why I said this. Number one, make time for you every day. You only want to give to others from your overflow. And so one of the things I noticed in my life early on is that I gave so much to other people and then I would be exhausted and tired. And I really didn't have much to give back to myself. So you always want to make sure you give back more to you so that you have more to give. Lesson number 2, age is nothing but a number. Now, when I was little, I thought 50 was old. But as I am here knocking on the door, I don't feel old at all. Matter of fact, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life, even though I have about 5 more pounds to lose. But my point is that age is only what you make it. Number 3, no is a complete sentence. So don't waste your time making excuses about things you don't want to do. You don't have to explain. You can absolutely say no and not feel guilty. And not have to feel like you need to say yes. Number 3, get rid of toxic people. See, there's power in choosing who's around you and who can pour into your life. So important because, again, think about it. I would never eat a piece of molded bread. I would never eat meat that was expired, right? So why do we let toxic people feed us, pour into us, have place at our table? Enough said, right? Number 5, your time is important. So spend it where you want and with who you want and how you want, right? I think this is probably one of my numbers, but I never feel guilty for days that I don't feel like working. Because I know how much I pour into my business. I know how many Saturdays I'm working, not because I have to, but because I want to, right? So it's so important that you realize your time is important. And then on the same token, realize that other people's time is important. One of my biggest values is being on time. I think when you're late, you're disrespecting other people's time. Like they can wait for you. Just saying. Number 6, never live with regrets. Do something about what you wish you had done, right? So you can always go back and you may not be able to fix it all the way, but you can always do something about it so you don't regret it. Like, for instance, this is a big regret that I have that I didn't go to Howard. Right? All my friends went to Howard. My mom wouldn't let me transfer to Howard. And so one of the things I make sure I do is I pour back into HBCUs. My husband went to an HBCU. I pour back into his school. One of my best girlfriends said, my friends think you went to Howard, so you can come to Howard's homecoming, So I can still do the things that I want to do, even though I didn't get to do it the way I wanted to do it in my 20s. Number 7, exercise. Big one. Do something every day to keep your body right and tight. That's what I have to say to myself. I want to keep it right and keep it tight. Matter of fact, I have to say that in the morning most days. So I get up and go into the gym. So whether that's walking, lifting weights, yoga, dancing, do something to stay in movement. What I've realized as I've gotten seasoned, because I'm not old, I'm seasoned, is that the things you don't use go into atrophy. And so I don't want my muscles, my legs to not work because I'm not using them. I remember as my grandmother began to age, right before she began to pass, she couldn't walk anymore. And the reason her legs weren't working is because she wasn't working her legs, right? And so you really want to make sure you exercise. And on that same token, number 8, stop eating stuff that just doesn't make you feel good, right? It might taste good in the moment, but then you don't feel good later. Like for me, I love ice cream. Love, love, love. I've had to totally release ice cream because ice cream absolutely makes me sick. I became lactose intolerant in my 30s. So I've had to substitute that with yogurt. Don't eat ice cream because it doesn't make me feel good. The same thing is when I'm eating a whole bunch of bad stuff like candy, like I could go on because I love everything, chips. In the moment I feel good, but later I don't. So I've really had to be conscious about making sure I'm only feeding my body what makes me feel good, what makes my body feel good. And yeah, I have cheat days too. But if I only do that every now and then and not every day, then I'm also respecting the house that my soul sits in so that I can do more of the work that I'm purposed to do in this world. And in that same line, number 9 is drink water. I have to say that to myself all day long. So I really am conscious about only drinking water, but I've got to drink enough water. When you think about, you're supposed to drink half of your body weight in ounces in water. So if I weigh 140, then I should at least have 70 ounces of water a day. Ugh, that's a lot, right? Number 10, know where your important papers are. So you need to know where your birth certificate is, where the deed to your house is, anything that could be important, is important, especially if you're married. So I need to know where my husband's birth certificate is. We both need to know where deeds are. We both need to know where manuals are to our house. Recently my water heater went out and my husband wasn't here. And of course, my first thing to do for me, freak out and call my husband. But then I realized, I have the number to the plumber. It's right on the water heater, right? So you've got to know where important things are so that when you have an emergency happen, you know what to do, where to go. Now, here's a big one. Number 11, I wrote buy the shoes, right? But what I mean by that is you got to treat yourself. Now, of course, you want to save. Of course, you want to live on budget. Of course, you don't want to overdo it. But every now and then, let yourself spoil yourself. Don't wait for somebody else to spoil you. You buy yourself flowers. I said buy the shoes because sometimes I would stare at some shoes and stare at some shoes and stare at some shoes. And I started saying, Nicole, buy the doggone shoes and stop staring at them. Stop stalking the shoes and go buy them. Number 12 is never stop reading. Now, I'm always reading at least 2 books at a time. So you always want to be feeding your brain and heightening your brain and continuing to grow and learn. You never want to stop learning and growing. You never want to minimize what you could shift and grow and learn. One of my favorite things to read about, I bet you if I sat here silent, you could say it, is purpose. As a purpose to paycheck expert is someone that helps women make multiple streams of income from their purpose, their gifts, their talents, from someone that coaches corporate executives what their next best move is, all around purpose. I still get excited about learning new things about purpose, even though I've been doing this for over 26 years now, right? So you always want to be reading and keeping your mind fresh and new, right? Number 13, get a massage. Get a massage at least once a month. I've realized as much as I travel, as much as I do and move around, I've got to, again, make sure my body is in alignment with that. So this is with water and exercise and all those things. I want to also make sure that I'm giving back to my body and replenishing it. Number 14, have a valid passport. Travel the world. I know so many people that have all these big goals to travel and don't ever do it. Don't wait for a man, a friend, just do it, right? I remember ever since I was a little girl that I wanted to go to Paris. Well, I went to Paris for the first time about 10 years ago, and I'm going again. A matter of fact, as you're listening to this, I'm probably in Paris, right? So my 50th birthday, I'm celebrating it in Paris. And I chose Paris because it's always been a romantic fantasy place for me. Now, to be honest with you, the first time I went, I was a little disappointed. It wasn't all that I thought it was going to be, but Paris is still romantic for me. And so you really want to be able to travel the world, going to Dubai and Rome and Spain and Prague and all these places that I've been blessed to travel to beyond the States, because I've gone many of the states, the United States. You get to see that life is different in every place. You get to see that food is different in every place. You get to see that shopping is different in every place. You can see I'm a foodie and a shopper, right? And so you get to travel the world and experience new and different cultures and see how people live in new and different ways, right? And so it's super important for me to have a valid passport because I also get last minute invitations to go places and I'm always ready. I don't have to get ready. I stay ready, right? Number 15, learn how to pack light enough to carry it on the airplane. You know how many times that I've gotten someplace and someone has said, they lost my bags? By the grace of God, if I'm going to a place and I can pack it on the plane, I do. Even if 3 days and I have several change of outfits, I have learned I can pack it all in one suitcase. And people are shocked when they see me after a speaking event, especially if I've been there for a whole week and they've seen me change my outfit numerous amount of times and they see me just rolling, leaving with one little bag. That's all you brought? Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes if I have several pairs of shoes, I can't do that. But I've really learned that I could really pack 2 pairs of shoes and then wear one, and I could get away with multiple outfits. So really, if you learn how to pack it on the plane, you don't ever have to worry about a lost bag. I was reading a post, Erica Campbell wrote this, so funny, that she was traveling. I forgot where she was going. By the way, if you don't know who Erica Campbell is, the one half of Mary. And literally, they lost her bag. And she said, 3 of my favorite wigs were in that bag. Anyway, number 16, don't let fear stop you from going after your next level. Don't let fear stop you. So I hear from so many women, especially around travel, that they're afraid to get on the plane so they don't go. Or they're afraid of their big dream so they don't ever go after it. And you've got to understand, if you've never done something before, it's going to be scary. See, on the other side of that fear is opportunity, is next level. If you want to sit in good enough and mediocre, then stay where you are. But to get to greater, to more, you've got to push through fear. I can go on and on about that, which moves me actually number 17. Never settle for good enough. Never. See, God is not a settle God. God wants you to live abundantly. So why would you settle for less than the desire in your heart? See, I've had to learn well, it's not hard now, but when I was younger, I had to learn the hard way that I remember my friends used to tell me I was picky when it came to men. I was, and I should have stayed picky because a couple of those guys I dated, girl, can I tell you, I should have never dated them. But because I had such high expectations, the man that I married, the gift that God brought to me was over and above that expectation. So never settle for good enough, because the men I dated before Daryl were good enough, to be honest with you. I had begun to settle. And why would you settle when God only wants the best for you? So don't settle, right? And how I learned that is really in number 18, to keep a journal. See, writing out gratitude, thinking about things, writing out things I want to remember, because as I get older, seasoned, I don't remember all the things that happened in my 20s, but I'll tell you, when I go back in my journal and read through some of the things I went through, I'm amazed. And it helps me remember where I've come from. It helps me see the journey that I've taken. It helps me see the lessons that I've learned, because after you learn it and you move on, you forget what it felt like in the middle of it, right? So keep a journal. And then it's always great to just have time to reflect. And that's, remember I said, I think number 1 was make time for you every day. See, again, it gives you that time to just be with you by having that journal time. Number 19, laugh, right? You always want to have fun. One of my biggest values is to have fun. So if you're around me and you spend any time with me, you know I'm silly, right? And I think my mother-in-law was so shocked the fact that I was silly, because she saw me writing books and, you see me posting and going on stages. But when you see me speak, you hear how silly I am. See, I love to have fun. I love to make people laugh, because laughter, what is it? They're saying laughter is the best medicine. And it really, really is. And so you always want to make sure you take time to just laugh and enjoy life. Number 20, let go of anything that no longer serves you. It's interesting that I was working with a new counselor. This is the truth. And because I'm a social worker and I've had several counselors, right? Because anytime I'm going to the next level and I have to let go of any baggage that might hold me back, the first thing I'm doing is finding a counselor, especially because I moved from California to Massachusetts, had a great counselor in California, had to find one here in Massachusetts. So when I went to that first counseling session, I said, let me just catch you up. So I started telling her all the things I've been through and how I had let things go. And as I started telling her my journey over, I think that was in my 40s that I had gone to her. And now I have a great coach that I can call. But anyway, she said, wow, how are you even sane? And I said, because I've learned to let things go. There's a saying, let go and let God. It's amazing to me how when we try to control things, like how that person hurt you, when you try to control how they're going to get hurt back, you can never control, or you can never, how do I say this? Let me just tell a great story. And I remember a guy I broke up with. I'm not going to say who it was. And we worked together, and I had done a lot of his job, right? And so come to find out he was cheating on me. Come to find out the girl was pregnant. Announced the wedding the same day I found he was cheating on me. Okay. So yes, I was hurt. Yes, I could have been rolling around on the floor. Yes, I was devastated. And then I had to remind myself who I was. And so in that moment, I had to let it go. I said, Nicole, you cannot stay stuck here. If he was the man for you, he would not have cheated on you. I had to talk myself into myself, right? And so I'm only saying that because I remember a week later, our boss called us into the office and started asking us about projects. And so he couldn't answer. Mind you, I still was working with this man. Okay. So he couldn't answer any of the questions that our boss was asking him because I did all the work. So my boss said, well, if you do all the work, he looked at him and said, why do you work here? And then my boss said, well, what do you think we should do? And I looked at my ex-boyfriend now and I said, today is your last day. I couldn't have planned that any better. I'm just saying. So understand that you've got to let go. Had I not let go and move forward, my life became better. I wasn't bitter. I need you to get that, right? I have all kinds of stories about that. Number 21, people will disappoint you. You got to know it. People will disappoint you. So along with the boyfriend, he disappointed me. But what happened was he showed me who he was. There's a quote by Maya Angelou that says, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And I believe she said the first time because oftentimes, I don't know if this is you, but I know this has been me. There's been times where I say, oh, well, maybe he's just having a hard day. No, boo, he showed you who he is. So when people show you who they are, believe them and then move on and know who you are, right? It's going to hurt. You will cry, but learn the lesson so you don't stay stuck in that disappointment. And so you don't stay stuck repeating that lesson, right? Number 22, be okay with being perfectly imperfect. See, what I know for sure is I make mistakes. You've made mistakes. We all have made mistakes. So forgive yourself and know that you're not perfect, but you learn the lesson and you can do everything in excellence, right? Let me ask you, have you ever felt like something is missing in your career? See, whether you love your job or you absolutely hate it, guess what? There's more for you. Or maybe you want to begin a business simply to get paid for what you know when you're not sure where to begin. Or maybe you have started your business and you're not generating the income you desire and, quite frankly, that you deserve. See, regardless of where you are in any of those areas, what I found is that all you really need is clarity. Or actually, what you need is a roadmap toward living in your purpose and getting paid for it. So go to becomingroadmapquiz.com. See, I created the Becoming Roadmap Quiz so that you can get the clarity you need on where you are and the steps you need to move forward now. So let's get you headed in the right direction on all the ways you should get paid for what you know. Go to becomingroadmapquiz.com. Now, this next one is one of the biggest lessons I learned. What's so funny is this is number 23, and I learned this at 23. Date yourself. Enjoy spending time with you. I remember the when I really started working on myself, I was 23. I just started down the path of starting my own business. And if you know my story, I started working with teenage girls. Now, if you've ever worked with kids, you know that kids will call you out so quick, right? And so I remember one of my girls called me out. And I thought, I need to work on myself. I can't hold the space that they work on themselves and I'm not working on myself. So I bought this self-development book, and the first exercise it gave me, I don't even remember the name of the book, by the way, because after I finished it, it did so much good to me. I paid it forward and gave it to a girlfriend, and she gave it to a girlfriend, and so on and so forth. But anyway, one of the first assignments was to go out on a date with yourself. So I was so uncomfortable. I chose to go to lunch in the middle of the week because it was easy, right? And then later down in that book, it said gave me another assignment to go on a date with myself on a Friday night. Woo, I felt like the entire restaurant was staring at me. But can I tell you that now I go out with myself so often, it doesn't even faze me. I travel so much by myself and I love it. Now I love my husband. I have great girlfriends, but I love me. I love hanging out with Nicole, right? And so allowing yourself to spend time with yourself, it gives you time to just sit in quiet reflection and dig into your soul, especially if it's just silent wherever you go. Number 24, by the way, I can go on about 23. That's why I stopped. Number 24, you've got to be willing to admit when you are wrong. Now, a few minutes ago, I said be perfectly imperfect. So guess what that means? That sometimes you will be wrong. So you've got to be willing to say, ooh, girl, I messed up. Ooh, my bad. I think as a coach, when I tell my clients, ooh, you know what? I messed this up. Let me course correct. And they appreciate the fact that I say it because most of them have seen it. So we try to act like everything is perfect and nothing is wrong. That's just not real. So you've got to be willing to admit when you're wrong and then fix it. Number 25, trust your first instinct. There's been times when I haven't trusted my first instinct, and oh my God, I've been so mad at myself. There's a saying that I've heard say that your first mind is your God mind, and everything after that is you second guessing what God has already told you need to do. You know, that gut reaction, that God uttering time out also is what I heard gut means. That gut reaction is, I believe, God speaking to your soul and telling you do that or don't do that, right? Which moves us into number 26, spend time with God. The more you grow in him, you grow in you. See, what I've learned in my own journey is the more that I grow in my relationship with God, I begin to see how he created me. It begins to help me stand more in the power of who I was birthed to be. It helps me understand my gifts and talents on a whole new level. The closer I get to my creator, the closer I get to the highest and best version of who I was created to be. And can I just say, I hate when people say the universe. That just came up in my mind when I was saying that, because why would I give credit to the universe when I can give credit to the God that created the universe? Just saying. Number 27 is find a great purpose partner. See, everybody may not get your dream, but someone should. And so if you've been around me, you know, I have a business bestie. I also have a prayer partner. Both of them have been so great about holding the space for my purpose, being that shoulder to cry on, letting me tease things out when I'm stuck, all of that. You want to have a great purpose partner. My husband's a great purpose partner too. But the other thing that I've also had to learn, which is not on here, I don't think this is one of my numbers, is that your mate may not have your same calling. And don't try to make your mate, your mama, your sister, your cousin be in your calling, right? If their calling is altogether separate. And there are some husband and wives that have a calling to do things together, and that's great. And I honor that. But right now in this season of my journey, my husband's calling is separate from mine. I'm not saying that we'll never work together, because who knows what God has in his plan. But right now I have to be mindful to not make Daryl's purpose my purpose, and to have purpose partners that are in alignment with you, that can walk beside you, right? Number 28, everyone will not like you. Everyone is not going to like you. But guess what? That is not your problem. So move on. It's their loss, not yours. Enough said. 29, let the people who matter know how much you appreciate them, and do it often. At this notch in my journey, I've lost friends to cancer, to illness. And so it's so important that when you think of somebody, when they're on your mind, call them, text them, reach out. I'm really great about that. I'm a texting queen. So when I'm thinking about my friends, I'll just text and say, girl, I was thinking about you. Sometimes I'll call, but most part, if I'm thinking about you, I'm texting you, right? And that's the next one. Better matter of fact, number 30, when you think of someone, send the text or make the call. Don't put it off. Tomorrow is not promised. Number 31, do work you love. It's never too late to start. It's never too late, even if it's something altogether new. See, I don't want to die. I don't want to go to heaven and I get to the pearly gates, and God, I want him to say to me, job well done. See, if you're not doing work you love, I believe it's because it's the work, you're not doing the work you're purposed to do. When you do what you're purposed to do, you love it, right? Number 32, go to the doctor, right? Get your checkups, get your mammograms, and mammograms, yes, they hurt. Go every year and stay on top of it, because you want to be ahead if there's something going on for you, right? You want to be ahead of it, right? Number 33, have time for just you and your girls. Get away, happy hour, right? Have girl time. And I love my time with my girls. I love when I get to go away, especially my business bestie. We're always trying to go to some convention together. And mind you, I love hanging out with all my girlfriends, but I'm thinking about business bestie because we're supposed to be doing business. But I have so much fun with her that it's like a vacation in the middle of doing business, right? Number 34, moderation is key. So, yep, I still have wine. I still have cake. I still have ice cream not ice cream, yogurt. Told you guys I can't have yogurt. Wine, cake, yogurt. Yogurt to me is my ice cream, right? And it's all okay as long as I don't eat it all the time. Number 35. Are you keeping up with my numbers? A movie or TV marathon every now and then is a must, especially with my PJs on and popcorn, right? It's okay for me to just veg out and do nothing. And it's totally fine. As a matter of fact, I call those mental health days, right? Number 36, you're worth it. You are worth it. And knowing that you're worth it, you've got to know it. It doesn't matter if anybody else knows it if you don't know it. Number 37, stop waiting for permission. No one is meant to birth your goal, your dream, your desire other than you. So stop looking for other people to give you permission to go after it and go on and do it. As my husband would say, do the damn thing. Number 38, never take sides. You know, when you have two friends, two family members that are in conflict, you want to always stay in neutral. I remember my grandmother passed. All my mother's brothers, all my mother's sisters, because the brothers weren't calling me, were calling me. And I had to stay neutral, including with my mom, right? So you've got to stay neutral no matter what's going on, no matter who is acting a fool, because sometimes they are. If it's not your conflict, then it's not your business, right? Number 39 on that same flow, don't burn bridges. You know, when you're in business and people are acting a fool, like I just said, not your responsibility. Not your responsibility to start telling the whole world, don't burn the bridge, because you never know when it will be a full circle. I have a great story on that real quick. So I remember I worked in comedy, and I was blessed to work with one of my really great friends at the comedy store. I'm not going to say names. And he had a comedy night, and he and I would go through, and comedians would audition. What's it, audition tapes? I can't even think of the word. What's it, audition tapes every week. And this one particular woman just wasn't funny. Her submission was so professionally put together. She was so professional, so well, everything was so well done, but she just wasn't funny. So week after week after week, she'd submit her stuff and she'd never get up. So one week she said, Nicole, you know, every week I submit and every week I get turned down. Can you tell me what's wrong? And I said, do you want me to tell you the truth, or you want me to tell you the answer that's going to make you feel good? And she said, can you do both? And I laughed. I said, okay. So I told her her submissions were impeccable. They are professional. They're neat. They're well done. Half of these comedians would do great if you put together their packet. But unfortunately, you're just not funny. And so she appreciated me being honest, and you know, I was trying to make her feel good in my honesty. And so years later now, I no longer work in entertainment, right? And I have this program working with teenage girls, and I had got an opportunity to be on I'm trying to think what to call it, on not a panel, but I got invited to a focus group for the Speaker of the State of California. Program wasn't working. I came in there despite the fact that all the who's who LA businesses were in there, and I made recommendations, and the speaker was blown away and said, you know, I want to help you with your business. Come and meet with me. So set up an appointment. I go meet with the speaker, get to his office. The receptionist walks me into his assistant's office. His assistant has a woman in her room. The assistant says, hey, you know, Nicole, let me walk her out. I'll be right back. Okay. So the speaker's assistant comes back and says, Nicole, do you remember that woman? And I said, no. She said, that was my sister. She was a comedian. She said, and you were so gracious to her. You told her what we had been telling her for years, that she wasn't funny. She said, so you don't need to meet the speaker. Tell me, how much do you need? She wrote me a check in that moment. So don't burn a bridge. You never know how that person can come back and be a connector for you at any given time in your life. Number 40, save your money. Tithe and then pay yourself before you pay a bill, right? So tithe, you always want to give back to God. Yes. You always want to give back to yourself and save a little bit and then pay your bills. Now, some months, I'll be honest with you, I always tithe, but sometimes I don't save like I should, because I might have bought one outfit too many. And so I'm really getting better about that as I get older, because an outfit cannot help you make an investment in a house or in your retirement, right? Number 41, I should have said this after 30. Number 41, holding grudges takes too much negative energy. Oh my God, holding grudges. So people are going to do you wrong. They're going to hurt you, but let that be their problem. You know, I let it go as soon. Like I told you a little while ago, when people show you who they are. So now I know who you are. I'm not mad at you. I just know who you are now. Take care. Bye-bye. Right? So I don't hold grudges. It takes too much negative energy for me to hold on to how you hurt me. That's your problem, not mine. Number 42, learn to let go and let God, which means letting go of worry, of stress, of whatever it is. And my husband hates, I always say this, whatever's meant to be shall be. Like we're in the middle of a stressful situation. He goes, what do you think? Whatever's meant to be shall be. I can't stress about it. I'm going to let God deal with that. And literally, I let go in that moment. Sometimes it's harder than others, but I've had to learn that over time to truly, truly, truly let go. Number 43. We're almost there, y'all. Don't lie. They always catch up with you. Don't lie. Don't tell people lies. Tell the truth. Even if it hurts, tell the truth. Even if you have to put some sugar on it, still tell the truth, right? Number 44, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Enough said, right? Number 45, remember where you came from. See, I'm from a little black girl from South Central LA, and who I should be I should be a woman defined by jail, drugs, and drive-by shootings. Matter of fact, if I was the woman that my neighborhood defined me as, I should have 5 babies by 5 baby daddies. And that's real. And so I always want to remember her because she is me and I am her. And I am still the woman with a master's degree. I'm still a woman with a high 6-figure business year after year. I'm still a woman, a CEO. I'm still a woman that has been an adjunct professor who has worked for major TV networks. I'm still a woman who, and I can go on, but you also want to remember the small beginnings, the humble beginnings, where you came from. Number 46, you will fail. You will. So learn the lesson, but never quit. I think the older we get, the more seasoned we get, life experience makes us want to quit when we fail and we see failure coming. But what I realized, and I have failed so many times in my business, that could be a whole episode by itself, right? Matter of fact, maybe it should be. But every failure has been an opportunity for me to learn and grow. What do I need to learn here, and how can I get better from here? Number 47, take chances. You will never grow staying in your comfort zone. You just won't. You got to be willing to risk it all to gain it all. Number 48, celebrate yourself. Stop waiting for other people to celebrate you and throw your own self a party. Buy your own self some flowers. Celebrate you, right? Number 49, education is never wasted. So go back to school, hire a coach, read a book, but always be willing to educate yourself. And then last but not least, 50, give people the benefit of the doubt. You know, what's interesting is as I've traveled throughout my 50 years, everyone's life experiences are not like yours. Everyone doesn't see life the same way you do. And so really giving people the benefit of the doubt, talking them through why they did or how they're looking at things and trying to see things from their angle allows you to grow because you get to see things from new and different perspectives. So with that, I could probably go on and on for the next half hour and give you even more life lessons I've learned along the way. If any of my lessons I've walked you through in the top 50 have given you any value, will you please do me a favor? Go into the Brilliance Tribe, our Women of Brilliance Tribe. You go there by going to thebrilliancetribe.com. That's again our Women of Brilliance Tribe Facebook group. And tell me, out of the 50 lessons I just taught you, what is the one lesson that either shared something with you that you never thought about before, or that is one of your favorite lessons, or you can share a lesson with me that I didn't share. I'd love to hear from you. So again, go into the Women of Brilliance Tribe in Facebook. You can go there by going to thebrilliancetribe.com and then go in, share either what your favorite was from what I just shared. You can share maybe something you learned from one of my lessons, or share a lesson I didn't share, and then hashtag Nicole's 50th. That's my gift from you, and sharing with me how you found value in this and then any of the podcasts, because my podcast every week, listen, I don't get paid to do these podcasts. These are my gifts back to you to hold the space that you too might amplify your brilliance. And so until the next time, I hope again that you have found value. I look forward to hearing all your insight you take away from this episode as my gift from you on my 50th birthday. Thank you for listening to this special episode in celebration of my 50th birthday. But guess what? I have more to give you. So number one, I want to share with you that Amplify Your Brilliance new episodes will only begin to play the first Wednesday of every month, just so that I can give you more. So if you're not a member of our Facebook group, let me invite you to join the Women of Brilliance Tribe. Go to thebrilliancetribe.com, because that is the place where you will receive training, ebooks, free insight, more and more that I pour into you, and our goal of really amplifying your brilliance. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Amplify Your Brilliance. Now, I want you to walk away from these sessions with value, so answer either one or all three of these questions. Number one, what was your greatest takeaway? Number two, what will you do different as a result of what you heard? See, you may have heard something you've already heard, or you may have learned something new. Either way, don't take the insight that was shared with you for granted. So commit to doing one thing different as a result of what you heard. Number three, what was confirmation for you? What did you hear that confirmed you're on the right path? See, I want you to take a moment and celebrate you. Too often in our journey, we focus on what we're not doing and we forget to celebrate what we are doing. So I want you to share with us something that showed you that you're on the right path. Now again, share. Share either answer number 1, what was your greatest takeaway? Number 2, what will you do different? Or number 3, what was confirmation for you? And share it in our Facebook community. Go to thebrilliancetribe.com and use the hashtag #AmplifyYourBrilliance. See, each experience we encourage, support, and celebrate as a community. It allows us to expand in possibility and wisdom, in encouragement and love. Now, we've invited you into this community to deepen our journey with being the answer somebody needs and being committed to your next level. So until the next time, be extraordinary, be unapologetic, be bodaciously you, go and amplify.